Hare Krishna. So, as we discussed, like we are in the fourth chapter, Transcendental Knowledge, which is Divyanya. Okay. So first three chapters, like okay, we covered till now the foundational concepts. Then first three chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The first chapter of the name of the first chapter is observing the armies in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where Pandavas and Kauravas armies been assembled, and Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjaya what is happening in the Dharmakshetra, like what they assemble, what they are going to do. Then the victory being predicted for Pandavas, like a various signs we have seen, and how uh, both the armies been assembled, like they blown their Shankha, and they are explaining like how the army been set it up. Okay. Then Arjuna been put into the delusion state, like okay, where he is saying, I'm not going to fight, and he's giving these five reasons like a compassion, enjoyment, fear of sinful reaction, destruction of family tradition, and indecision. Okay, then he is surrendering to Krishna in the second chapter, from the front to the disciple. So then Krishna is talking like a the gist of all the yogas. Okay, in the second chapter, that is the reason. The second chapter is called Contents of the Gita Summarized. So first he is talking about Sankhya Yoga, okay, which is nothing but like the difference between body and soul. We are not the body, we are the soul, and he is explaining the 30 characteristics of the soul. Okay, that is what is Sankhya philosophy. Then he is talking about like a karma kanda. As a Kshatriya, your duty is to fight, and if you get if you win, you will get earthly kingdom. If you lose, you're going to get a heavenly kingdom. So you work and you get the result. Then uh, he's saying like how to do buddhi yoga or nishkama karma yoga, which is you do the work but surrender the results unto the Lord or to me. Like so, by doing that, you will get two things. One is you will not have any sinful reaction, and you don't need to take birth in this material world again. Okay, that is what buddhi yoga or nishkama karma yoga. Then he is talking about Arjuna is having a query like okay, how the symptoms of the self-realized soul will be, how he will walk, how he will sit, how he will carry himself. So then Krishna is answering like he will be Siddha Prajna, like he will be not bothered about any result or not bothered about like any reactions. He's always like okay, more peaceful and humble and happiness or sorrow situation. He will treat it in an equal manner, victory or defeat also. Then he's saying like in नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य या नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य वावन न चावादान्तान्ति asantasya kutastukam. Like okay, so if you want to sukam like a happiness, then you need to have the peace. If you want to have the peace, you need to have the steady mind. If you want to have the steady mind, definitely you have to connect to Krishna and do the devotion service. Okay, that is how he is saying. That is how the second chapter is ending. Then Arjuna is having a query in the third chapter, like which is called Karma Yoga. The third chapter, Arjuna is having a query, like okay, if you think the renunciation is better than fruitive activities, why you are engaging me in this ghastly warfare? What Arjuna thought about renunciation is like it is a renunciation of the work. It is not renunciation of the work, it is a renunciation in the work. You do the work, you get the result, that result like a surrender to Krishna. Not like, okay, without doing the work, okay, if I am not going to do the work, I will not get the karma, so let me not do the work. Then you will get bad karma. Like, so then he's saying why all the Mahajans, like Janaka Maharaj, set the right example for the future generation, and how he created, like Lord created the this one. What is that? The system, Varnashrama system. Then he is talking about like okay, there is no work dedicated to Krishna, but still he is doing that particular work. Like okay, so he is talking about Karma Yoga and Nishkama Karma Yoga. Then he is talking about the purpose of Bhagavad Gita 3.30. Okay, which is Mai Sarvani Karmani Sanyashadhyatma Chetasaga Nirasir Nirmamo Bhutva Yudhya Vyadajvara. So you have to do the work. Like by doing the work and surrendering the results to Lord, you will free from bondage and like attain the perfection. Then Arjuna is having a query like how one is forcefully like doing the sinful action. So then he's saying like it is the lust only, Arjuna, that lust uh, connection between lust, greed, anger, like that is what being mentioned. So if you're having the desire to achieve something like that is what lust, which is not connected to Krishna. If you get that, if you achieve that, like then you are going to get more greed. If you are not achieving that, like you will have the anger. Okay, this is how the whole connection of lust, anger, greed have been mentioned. Okay, then the fourth chapter, transcendental knowledge, that is what we are seeing. Okay, we have seen till 19th sloka. Okay, because Krishna is explaining like okay, transcendental knowledge about Krishna. Because if you want to love someone, if you want to respect someone, we need to understand like who they are and what is their unique qualities and what is their position. This we have seen, correct? If PM Narendra Modi is coming to our house, then we will be like a very much ready to welcome him, correct? Because we know the importance of him, we know the level of him, okay, all those things. The similar way, we need to, if we, how we can get out from this material world, we have to surrender to Krishna, we have to do the devotional activities. How we can do more? By loving him, okay? How we can love? By knowing more about him. If we know more about Krishna, then we get the respect and we get the various ways to love him. Like it may be Vatsalya Bhav, it may be like a Prema Bhav, it's maybe like a Dasya Bhav. So likewise, like there are various ways to love by understanding Krishna. That is how all the devotees, like how Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, how Mirabai surrendered to Krishna, how Gopi surrendered to Krishna. Like there are how Yashoda or Devaki surrendered to Krishna. Each are not only surrender, like a loving Krishna. Each one had like a different way of connecting with Krishna because they know the opulence of Krishna. So that is what like he's saying, the transcendental knowledge about Krishna. He's saying, okay, I explained this knowledge to Sun God, Vivaswan, and Vivaswan to like a Manu, and Manu to Ikshvaku. So like this, like the disciplic succession being broken, and whenever there is a decline in religion and rise in like irreligious practices, I appear millennium after millennium to protect the devotees and to annihilate the miscreants. Like that is how he says. Then this applying transcendental knowledge to work, like how we can apply. Then in that we have seen the important sloka also, like how to get out from this material world, correct? Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tattvaga tattva deham punarjanma naitimam naiti sarjana. Just we need to understand janma karma. About whom? Janma karma. So about Krishna, his appearance as well as like his activities, which is nothing but the Srimad Bhagavatam. If you understand that, like if we practice that knowledge, then we can go back to Godhead very easily. Okay. Uh, then applying transcendental knowledge to work, how the work can be applied, like okay, by connecting with Krishna. So that is what we have seen. Then understanding karma on the platform of knowledge. So how to do the karma without any self motive, without any attachment? Okay, we have to perform our duty. That is how like the Varnashrama Dharma been created. The Varnashrama Dharma, like the Varna and Ashrama, it is based upon our guna and karma. Okay, based upon our the Brahmana son cannot be like okay the Brahmana just by birth. Okay, he has to do the guna and the karma based upon his activities, and like okay, guna we have to define it is not he's not a Brahmana, he may be like a Vaishnava or he may be like a Shudra. So that also we have seen the example of Ajamila, correct? Though he was born in the Brahminic family, he didn't perform the Brahminical qualities later at the stage, so he has to be considered as a Shudra. The similar way, Haridas Thakur, though he was born in a Malicha family, but he performed the perfect of the chanting. So that is the reason he has been called as Namacharya, and he has been like the Shuddha Vaishnava, like a proper pure Vaishnava. So it is not based upon the Varnashrama Dharma is not based upon the birth, but it is based upon the guna and karma. Okay. So let's see from 4.20. Till now, any questions?
No, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, we have to have this connection. That is the reason, like we are spending around 15 minutes to do the revision. Because once it has been uh, impression, like okay, imperfect. Sorry, uh, once it has been like okay, inflexed in our mind, then we will never be able to forget this particular concept. Okay, because this is the transcendental knowledge and it is eternal. It's not okay. We are studying whatsoever, like okay, subjects in grade 8, and after going to grade 9, we don't need to study that anymore, correct? Many a times. But the transcendental knowledge, this Bhagavad Gita, it is a pure song of the Lord. Whatever we are studying, like okay, it has to register in our mind. It has to uh, keep poking us like whenever there is a need, because there is one good summary. If you are on the sad moment, these are the slokas to refer. If you are on the happy moment, like these are the slokas to refer. Likewise, Bhagavad Gita is like okay, the book for all in all of our emotions. Okay, so because it is eternal, so we have to understand and we have to imbibe that particular knowledge forever. It is eternal. Whatever this 1 hour you are allocating, or whatever time you are taking, like to study Bhagavad Gita, that has immense potency. We cannot measure, we cannot count. Okay, that is Bhagavata Mahatmyam and Bhagavad Gita, like Ekam Sastram Devaki Putra Geetam. Okay, Ekam Sastram. There is only one Sastra which is Devaki Putra Geetam. Okay, the Bhagavad Gita, Devaki Putra. Who is Devaki Putra? It is Sri Krishna. So Ekam Sastram Devaki Putra Geetam. Likewise, like it has been mentioned. Okay, the Bhagavad Gita, we have to be very, very not materially proud, but spiritually proud that I am studying Bhagavad Gita. I am getting the chance to get the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, because not everyone will get the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. It is very, very rare soul. In Bhagavad Gita also, there is a sloka like a Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschit Yatati Siddhaye Yatatam Abhi Siddhanam Kashin Mam Vetti Tattvadaka. Like there is hardly very limited people like will try to understand me. In that only very limited people, like a very, very limited people like will come to me. The similar way, there is another sloka. Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam. They Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam. Yeah, Durlabo Manusho Dego, Dehinam Shana Banguraha, Tatrapi Durlava Manye, Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam. Okay, there is very, very getting the getting the human body is very, very rare. Okay, Durlabo Manusho Dego. Durlabo Manusho Dego. Manusho Dega. To get the material body, it is very, very rare. Dehinam Shana Banguraha. Okay. Uh, for the conditioned soul, the human body is most difficult to achieve, and it can be lost at any point, because Shana Banguraga, one moment, okay, our life will be upside down. Our nears and dears, like, okay, will lost their life just on a matter of time, correct? Tatrapi Durlabha Manye. But I think even those who have achieved human life rarely gain the association of pure devotees, okay? Getting a human life which can be lost at any moment is very rare. Even more rare is like that soul getting connected to Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam. Priya Darshanam, Vaikuntha, who is there in the Vaikuntha, like the Vishnu, who is closer to Vishnu, that kind of devotee, to get the association of the devotee, it is even more rare. It is not me saying, it is Sri Krishna saying in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have to be thankful to all the acharyas like to give this knowledge, and this knowledge has to register in our mind permanently. Please, I may repeat this again and again, but we have to take this forward again and again, like by reading Shastra, by reading Bhagavad Gita, by passing this knowledge to others. That is very, very important. Okay. So, 20th sloka. त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलाशङ्कं नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मणि अभिप्रवर्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति चः. Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action. So abandoning all attachment to the results of an activity. So we should not have any attachment to the results of our activities. Ever satisfied, like a always ever satisfied. We already seen another place, correct? In the second chapter. What is that sloka? Ever satisfied. The last section of second chapter. Just now we covered, correct? Sita Prajna. He is called ever satisfied and independent. He performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kind of undertakings. Any self-realized soul, although he perform work, but he does it for Krishna, for the sake of Krishna. So for material people, they may think that, okay, he is doing some regular activity, but in reality, he is doing the spiritual activity. That is what it says, because he is abandoning all attachment to the results of fruitive activities, and he is ever satisfied and independent. Okay, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kind of undertakings. Okay. Then the next sloka, Nirasir yata chittatma tyaktva sarva parigraha sariram kevalam karma purvan napnoti kilbisham. Tyaktva, we saw in one another sloka in the fourth chapter. Let me see who can see this one. Who can say? Tyaktva. One another place we have seen in this Tektva.
त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्मं, that one room.
Yes, Madhuri. Which is a sloka, starting sloka.
Janma karma
Karma
chame.
chame divyam evam yu vetti tektva. Tektva deham punarjamana. Tektva means like a leaving, giving up. Okay. Then Nirasir also we have seen in one another place. Nirasir. Just now I have told very recently in the third chapter. 3.30 Mai Sarvani Karmani Sanyas Adhyatma Chetasaga Nirasir Nirmama Bhutva. There is no self. Nirasir means like a without the desire for the result. Without the desire for the result. Nirasir. Okay. So like this, like if you remember this loka, you have the connection where it is coming. Okay. Nirasir Yata Chittatma Tyaktva Sarva. So Sarva also like in the 18th chapter will come, correct? Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Okay, Parikraga. Sariram Kevalam Karma Purva Napnopi Kilbisham. Okay, such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship. Okay, that is what Nirasir. Proprietorship is parigraha. Okay, over his possessions and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus, working, he is not affected by sinful reaction. Take example of all these great sannyasis who uh, who left all their family and all their family and their material life. They fully dedicate their whole life only for the benefit of all common people, correct? They always give the knowledge. They wanted to give the knowledge of like, okay, Krishna to all the conditioned souls. take Srila Prabhupada, okay, at the age of 70s, now in the age of like a 30, 40 itself, we are fully dedicating our time like in many of the material activities. At the age of 70, he he takes the tough decision like to go back to the west to preach to the westerners. Just as like okay, his Guru Maharaj said, please like okay, since you know the fluency of English. Okay, so you go and preach this knowledge to the West. For that particular reason, okay, without knowing anyone in the West, still he was fully dedicating his life, like okay, to the preaching. Correct. This is what like all the acharyas and sannyasis does like for the welfare of the common people. Okay. So that is what such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence because they act with mind and intelligence, not with the body. Correct? Okay. And perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship. Okay. Over his positions. They don't possess anything. They don't possess anything. They always like does the things for they always does the things for the common people and act only for the bare necessities of life. Thus, working is not affected by the sinful reaction. So they are not at all affected by the sinful reaction because they are doing the things for the welfare of common people, and they are doing it like okay, for the welfare of Krishna. Sorry, not welfare of Krishna, like to pass the knowledge of Krishna. Okay. Okay. Next, Loka. Yadra cha labha santushto द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समः शुद्धौ असिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते. He who is satisfied with the gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. Okay, this is what like a Chitta Prajna says. Who? And always like it's satisfied with the gain, okay, which comes its own accord. If they do something like they get uh, some uh, some reaction, but they are not attached to that particular reaction. They are always like a satisfied, yeah, huh? To get their own accord, which is who is free from duality. They are always like a free from the duality and who does not have any envy. Okay, they will not envy anyone. Who is steady in both success and failure. That is this is what like again Sita Prajna said, correct? Sita Prajna means like they don't bother about success or failure and never entangled, although performing actions. Okay, they do the action, but they are not worried about like the result and they do not envy. Okay, so this is what he says. Okay, do the karma based upon the jnana. That is what the section which we are covering. They do the action, but it is not connected with anywhere like okay, getting the karma or getting the reaction because they do it on the platform of jnana. Okay, that is what Krishna explaining. Any doubt here? Gata sangasya muktasya ज्ञानवस्थितचेतसः यज्ञायाचरत कर्मः कर्म समग्रं प्रविलीयते. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into the transcendence. Okay, the one who is not attached to any material mode of material nature and who is fully satisfied in transcendental, situated in transcendental knowledge, they merge entirely like into the transcendence because they do the activity on the basis of like okay. devotional way. Okay, Hare Krishna. So the next loka of this particular section, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to the spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute, and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, the Krishna conscious person, sure to attain the spiritual kingdom. There is no doubt, okay, he will attain the spiritual kingdom, okay, because of his full contribution to the spiritual or devotional activities, in which the consummation is absolute, okay, in which the 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 action is absolute, like whatever we are performing, it is without any doubt, and there is no second thought about it, and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Whatever we are doing and we are offering to the Lord, like it is on the same spiritual nature, like okay, there is no doubt that he will not go back to Godhead, he will go back to Godhead. So that is what been mentioned, like okay, by doing that action on the platform of jnana, we have all these advantages. Okay, so let me go to the 19th sloka. Yeah, 19. 19th is activities of one in full knowledge is devoid of sense gratification, because like we saw, like whatever Srila Prabhupada does, like okay, he was not having any sense gratification, but like a full of devotional thing. Okay, activities of one in full knowledge, he is detached, ever satisfied, independent. This is what like a Chitta Prajna state we have seen, correct? Because he engage all his senses like to the he engages his ears like to hear the lecture, eyes to see the deity of the Lord. Okay, then likewise, like okay, everything he will engage. There's a very nice sloka by Amrisha Maharaj, correct? What is the sloka? Savai mana Krishna Padara Vindayo Shamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane. So he engages all his senses to every devotional activity. Okay. Then activities of again, like he is not having uh, any material motive actions. Okay, he always does akarma, which is unattached to results of the work. Okay, performs all the activities like with full Krishna consciousness. Okay, because of that, he will not have any reaction to the work, and so he don't need to suffer in this material world. Okay, in the 21st sloka, uh, again the same thing, but he acts only bare necessities of life, like okay, and that reaction also comes by itself to others, like he may see he is not doing any work, but in reality he is performing the purest of the work. Okay, so he will not have any expectation from anything. He will treat success and failure same. He is treating like a good and evil same, likewise. Okay, he will not get any reaction to the work. The 22nd, again, he is having, he is satisfied from the free from duality, does not envy anyone. Okay, is steady both in success or failure against the prajna state. Because all these things, whatever we are seeing is like, okay, he's doing the activity, but not on the platform of material activities, but on the platform of spiritual activity, which is nothing but okay, platform of karma. He's acting on the sorry, he's acting on the platform of jnana. Sorry, okay, it is not karma. He's doing the karma like okay, based upon the jnana platform. Okay, that is the reason this chapter is called transcendental knowledge. Okay, acting fully in transcendental knowledge, unattached to the mode. He will not be attached to any modes. Okay, he merges entirely into the transcendence. Okay, this what. been said. Thus he will go back to the Godhead for sure. That is what been mentioned in the next sloka, correct? Whatever he does, like it is perfect, and he will go back to the spiritual world. Okay, that is what entanglement of jiva. Because if jiva is doing all the material activities, he will be in this material world again and again. But if he does like okay, the spiritual activities, he get the full opportunity to go back to the Godhead. Okay, he will always be in the samadhi or transcendent trance or like okay, the Siddha Prajna state. Okay. Mm. Digestion caused by milk products is cured by another milk product is yogurt. Yeah. Hmm. Krishna consciousness is a process of converting illusionary consciousness into Brahman. So by using this material world, we have to transform ourselves like to connect to Krishna. So that is what been mentioned here. So the yajna, whatever yajna we are performing, like the Sankirtana yajna, that is one of the reason, one of the method like to go back to the spiritual world. Okay. Hare Krishna. So this how the symptoms of quality of one working in transcendence, like okay, though he may do the karma, but he does that like in the platform on the platform of jnana. That is what he says. Okay, main characteristics. What are the main characteristics? He works without attachment. Okay, no sense gratification. We have seen on Srila Prabhupada again. Then sadhaka, like he detached from the fruits, ever satisfied and independent. Then he is self-control. He is freedom of sense of proprietorship, and he desires only bare necessities of life, okay, to maintain the body. Then Siddha, then he is self-satisfied. He is freedom from duality, like he is always steady, and he is freedom from the envy. Then Yajna, like what he does, he detached from the modes and fully situated in the transcendence. Okay, such kind of work merges into transcendence. Okay, the summarized akarma Yajna. Okay, what he does, he is absolute quality, like in sacrifice, performing all these things will help him to go back to the spiritual world. Hare Krishna. This is what the section which I have seen. Acting on the platform of jnana, like okay, with the transcendental knowledge. Any queries here?
No, Prabhu.
By going too fast or like okay to digest, please stop and ask queries. Like if you have anything, don't hesitate. As the festive mood today, like I thought of mm, winding up a little early so that you can spend time with your family and do more devotion service. Hare Krishna. Any queries?